Okay, we are live. I'm going to pull up the screen here, get ourselves set up. We are, what are we at? We're a week out from, we missed a week, is what I mean, last week. So we're 2 weeks from having done a live stream here. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to do tonight. I had some ideas, but as it goes, I just kind of want to be, spontaneous, in the moment, if you will. So let's pull up. I'm thinking a grungy brush. How about this natural drag here? I guess that'll do. Been doing a lot of planes lately. I don't know if that's really what I want to keep doing for these. I want to make sure that I'm keeping it fresh. Keeping it fresh. As they say, as the cool kids say. I don't know, you guys know any cool kids? If you meet any, let me know what they say, because I have no idea. Let's see, I'm going large there. Shift that over to teal as we go to the back. We got the Come on, one more. There we go. Maybe a little more teal in here. There's some fun colors going on up in here. On this reference, I got a little reference image pulled up here. Actually, that kind of shifts towards a yellow there. Not sure if it's a true warm or if it's a gray that is appearing warm. You know, when it's put side by side with that blue. We shall see. We shall see. We just gotta kind of get things blocked in, and then we see where they go. Okay. Let's go a little darker with this. This is almost black in there. Well, no, I don't want to do that. I want to keep our colors a little bit more controlled. Our values, rather, so that we don't want to get to black quite yet. If at all. There's a relationship between colors that it's delicate. You mess with it at your own peril, they say. But as I'm doing this, I'm trying to think, okay, one thing I end up doing too often is getting bogged down in the minutia. So let's try to keep this kind of light, big shapes, big brushes, keep it moving. And again, I've said this before, but we want to use kind of color as a directional cue, right? So I've got like this right here. I want this to be a kind of a vertical plane, and then this here, that's the kind of a bottom facing plane. So I want that to be just a little bit weaker in terms of chroma, aka saturation. somewhere, someone out there is just cringing, like, no, they're not the same thing. Chroma's not saturation. I don't know. This is my live stream, so it is on you to prove me wrong. Okay. So... okay, let's get this gray. It's interesting. It's got a, it's kind of, where is that gray going? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But it darkens up. Get down in this area here. And down on the base down here. There's an interesting fade in from here. Maybe we'll go a little more gray on that so that is kind of a true fade into that. What do we got? This brightens up in here. I want to be careful that I don't go too far too soon, because it will give me no leverage, nowhere to go. And you need options. You need places to go. And I mean that. For real. That you need to give yourself a little bit of space. On the value scale. Okay, what do we got going on here? Might be a little bit early for details like this, right? Trying to get these landmarks, though this in my image, my reference image is way far more it's far more words, Eric. Get those words out. Extreme in perspective. Warped. It's kind of got a fisheye thing kind of going on there. And let's see what that looks like right there. That's a little bit, that's an interesting placement. Oh, you know what? I think I'm just looking at that totally wrong. I think this just goes all the way back there. And then this guy comes up in here. Give that a little lip. That. Then we'll take some of this blue. I'm going to pump that up just a little bit, shift it over. Oops. We'll go up and over like that. Then we're going to do it on the top side of this. Whoops. I don't know if I like the sketchiness, missing the mark, or if it just grieves me that it's not quite right. Okay, this shape is going to tell us a lot right there. That's going to tell us where the wing intersects with the body. We got a couple of shapes like that we got to work in and make sure they're right. You know, the angle of these ellipses and so forth. What am I saying here? Gotta get this in perspective. So that guy, it's gonna get kind of fatter on the one that goes into the distance there. Really flat on that guy. Planes again. Ugh. What's this guy doing with his life? These things. they're just beautiful. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Let's see, we got an interesting form going on here. Where we got curve there. Down here. We got this cut out there. It kind of gives us a little bit of the shape cue. And I'll cut out on the front. Curvature going around. Like so. And then there's these little. Come on. I'd use more of my arm on that one. Maybe I should zoom in. That would give me more work from the elbow and less from the wrist. Cleaner lines that way. Okay, interesting. There. We gotta go a little bit darker here. This is what I was talking about earlier, though. You save yourself some space so you can go darker as the need arises. And actually, these I think I'll go less on because, you know, the shadow color in that white is gonna be less than in the blue. Okay. Wee wee. That's all I got. I do try. Okay, that's an exaggeration. I don't really try. Not that hard. Alright, let's get this shape sorted out here. As this goes up and over, like there. Get the curvature there. Refine what that shape is right there, and then it kind of has a hood here. Comes down like that, and you might get a little bit, but like a lighter color there, and then we'll put in our grill stuff in there. Let's see, now this shape here, put the front in. clean that up there. Okay. I think all of this needs to come a little bit darker here. Do another tone there. And so this will swap out. So this will get this lighter or darker color here. Everything's just gonna go a step lower. Except for the very front of this. We'll catch some light. And I think we're going to add some more yellow tones in there. We got a little shape here we forgot to do. That's an interesting color. So you got like this blue-gray going on here, reflected light on that white. Let me refine that shape a little bit. I'm getting too crazy. Okay. Let's go. We're gonna go a little bit brighter and a little bit teal in here. There's a nice kind of reflective quality going on all the way to that edge. Actually needs to be more teal than that. Maybe just not quite as bright. Even darker. Even teal or even darker. You can do this. Darker still. And then blend those two together. A little brighter on this one. Not necessarily more saturated. Just catch a little bit of light there. And then actually, a nice shape to it there. Have that. Let's see. I'm gonna do some more. What is this guy doing? More of this blue in there. I like that. I like that kind of soft baby blue down in here that tells you that this is reflected light and it's reflecting from a different direction than this light right here. And actually, this whole wing is going to get a little bit crisper. It kind of shifts almost towards green as it goes underneath. That's kind of an interesting transition there. A little darker and grayer because it is a shadow. Let's see. You gotta get these shapes right or you lose. You lose hard. Real bad. Like that, that's actually, let's go a lot darker with that one. I may end up using overlay effect to get that dialed in, but let's get the curvature, the wingtip. It almost looks like it kind of flares up a little bit. It could be a perspective issue, but it kind of looks like it. Curls on the end. Anyway, get some of these grays in here. Perspective is a weird thing, isn't it? Makes everything look strange. When you try to look at this shape as a star and you go, that's really not, you know, don't think of it as a star. It's not going to be a star. It's a star with a healthy dose of perspective. Okay. And in this case, here, curvature. Actually, we're going to use this blue, whitish blue, and I'm going to go just a little darker and a little bluer. So now we've got this star on a curve in perspective. What could possibly go wrong? So we're just going to try to curve those lines a little bit, but not too much. Get that curvature looking nice and crispy there. I want these lines to be thicker here, top and bottom lines, and then the vertical lines I want to be a little bit thinner because they are being kind of cut off with that perspective. Should come right to the edge though, so let's tighten this up. You know, this circle should be right to the edge of the star rather than having a lot of space there. And it looks like our stripe here comes right from the top of the star. Doobie doo. We got like a two-seater here, so we gotta throw that in. Throw in some things going on there. Fiddly bits and bobs. What do we need? What do we need? What do we need? Tighten that up, maybe. Gotta throw in panel lines. Fiddly bits here, fiddly bits there, all the fiddly bits. Alright, this goes to there. I think I had it the first time. Should have stuck with what I had. Let's go darker with this, like, you know, because we get like a shadow area here. Half these in there, and then maybe darken this up a little bit. just on that edge. What do we need? We need, wow, that's a bit much. I'm going to do some reflected light here. Reflected off the body. And it looks like there's like some kind of white insignia number or something up here. I think we'll do the number 3, you know, tail numbers or whatever. This is 32 is the plane here. That's a huge tail, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not gonna correct it. Let's see. Let's do a bit there. Fiddly bits there. Front here. These like little ports and so forth. Here we've got. Okay, this is misplaced, so this is actually got to be up here. And our numbers. Come on, come on, you can do it. Yeah, whatever, something like that. Get rid of this. There's these interesting panel lines here. I really am not sure what's going on with this. You know, there's a shape there, but I can't quite figure it out. You got that comes in. Oops. We go boom, 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 boom. And then we're just going to knock all that back. All right, and then in here we've got another shape. I'm going to call this some kind of airspeed indicator or something. I don't know. It looks like it's where a gun belongs, but it does not look like a gun. Uh-oh. I said the YouTube forbidden word. Okay. And I don't know. I guess we'll just throw in some like little rivets and stuff. Am I missing something big here? What am I missing? Maybe should I clean this up? I don't know. I do not know. Let's put our numbers in here. Sounds like the baby is sad upstairs. It's gonna be a rough night. But he'll eventually fall asleep. And all will be calm. Alright, there's like a couple of panel lines, rivets, you know, and so forth, that sort of thing. This is like way too big right here. So I need to like clean that up. You know. I'll just kind of bring that in closer. And I suppose I should do that wing on the other side there. It's like I've just completely neglected it. What wing? What's everybody talking about? Wing? It's wing over there. Turns out most aircraft have at least two. Alright, this is like way longer than the plane actually is. We'll go to warp. See what can be done. Make a real mess. Real mess in here. Look at that wing. Okay, okay, okay. What is this guy doing? You're ruining it. Alright, let's do a new layer for our sky. And I'm just gonna fill this in, I think. We're just gonna go aggressive. Let's do another nasty square. I'll try to get this. You know, these angles right here. Do 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 do. You know, this shape, I think I'm just a little bit off here. So I may start moving all that stuff around. I'm reserving the right. Got my rights. There. Around there. This away, that away. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think that curvature needs to be exaggerated. Okay. I like this brush. It's got some issues with the, you know, the hue jitter. I like it in some cases. The fact that we're going to be doing sky here is a little bit problematic, but actually we're using this basically as a mask. And we're going to bring some things in on top of it, so fret not. Fretful ones. My apologies if you're not a fretful one. I'm mislabeling you. Let's see. Let's go. I'm going to go underneath it. So I'm going to take this layer. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so this was our original. We'll go back there. That was our original sketch. You know, little misshapely. We did a little bit of reshaping, but not perfect. We just used some warp tools, right? So then now I'm reassessing the drawing, and I'm thinking, okay, looking at the shape of this plane, it's got, you know, more of this kind of shape going on here, and then this thing's like, well, it's like right above the wing. It's farther back, not much, but just a little, makes a difference. And then let's see, we got there's like some text underneath it, and then let's get this color implemented like in here. Okay, because that's going to show us the leading edge of that wing. It's got a little bit going on with the paint job. So there's like teal on the bottom and blue on the top. I don't know how much of that we're going to change or just you know, do our own thing. But I'm thinking we'll catch a little bit of that, and we'll take this brighter blue, we'll go up a little bit higher with it. And then we'll try to catch that in here. Look at the front of the wing there. There's a little bit of reflected light in there. And something like that. This is like just a change in the paint job. Which is camouflage, so that kind of, I mean, camouflage to an extent when you're up in the, up over the ocean. But it is intended to break up the form. So we got to bear that in mind as we're, you know, painting things that are actually going to make it more difficult to really interpret what we're seeing here. Okay, we're going to a little bluer with that. Oh, little man up there is sad. Okay. some blue up in here. Then then I think we'll lighten some of this up here. Maybe even brighter than that. Just on the inside of that window. Well, what do we got? What do we got? We gotta go up and over. Gotta get the turn of the form. And I'm gonna try to limit that. Blue just a little bit there. Change that shape just a little bit there. More blue in here. Yeah, when in doubt, more blue. It's all blue. And this is all darker. I'll handle that later, just as a separate layer. And then there's also like a thingamajig. I don't know. I'm gonna call everything an airspeed indicator. That's an airspeed indicator, guys. There's an airspeed indicator. I don't know what that is. It's something, but there's something right there. And if you didn't know it, there it is. Okay. Oh. What's this? Airspeed indicator. What's that? Also an airspeed indicator. All right, I'm going to do a new layer. This one will probably end up blurring. This is where we're going to get our kind of our prop effect. It's kind of orangish, as if there's an orange strip of paint on the end of that prop. And we're thinking about the light. Is this? We catch. See, it's got some light catching here, so we're gonna brighten that up as it goes into that corner. And then we're gonna blur everything. So take it with a grain of salt. And I'm just gonna chop it with the eraser, like straight out. And then maybe this one we might go with the form. Let's see if that needs any adjustment. How we doing? Oh boy, that little guy back there. He is. I don't know if you can hear that. My 10-month-old upstairs just does not want to go to sleep. Might have to cut this early and help out a little bit. What just happened there? This prop is actually pretty humongous. I mean, it's amazing how large that, how much area that's covering. All right, a couple things we can do. So number one, we'll do a new layer. We're going to pin it to our sky. We're going to name this sky. Hello, sky. Now we're going to go G for the gradient tool. Pick a lighter blue. Almost, see, it almost starts to read as like purple once you get into that. It's hardly even off blue at all. It's like right in the blue, you know, oh, you'd think it's solid blue, but once you get towards gray, it just has this kind of feeling of shifting over, right? And so that's gonna be our like lower kind of fog, not fog. You guys, I think you know what I mean. Words. And I'm actually just gonna bring some of this in as clouds here. Could probably do this as separate layers, but why would we do that? Okay, I'm just gonna hit my smudge brush, and we're gonna smudge this up. Make it real messy, and give it some perspective to it. I might even just dab a few in there. I like, so what I'm seeing here in the reference is that, you know, the tops of the clouds, you know, they're catching that light, but then the bottom's just going to dissolve into the sky. You can see it there, but I'm going to suggest that it would look cooler if you couldn't. I might want that one a little bit lower here. I'll just flatten it out a little bit. Okay, that's something, I guess. We'll do a new layer, and we're going to do gradient with just the, what do you call that? Like mirrored gradient. And we're going to go more towards our teal colors. Still wanting the gray, and then we're just going to do this middle zone right here. Whoops, I accidentally already hit something there. I'll go there. And I'm going to pin that, I'm going to put that right between those two. Why is it going to... Hold on. Let's go richer teal. Yeah, like that. All right, then that'll go in the middle. And we can kind of move that to our heart's content. And I think we'll do one more. And this will be on the top side, and we'll go kind of a richer blue. Like so. Maybe here as well. Give that an arc. Okay. This guy, I'm going to copy this and then scrunch it down. Maybe change the shape a little bit. Let's just see what looks cool. Because that's all we're about, just being cool. It's not true. Cool is way overrated. But don't take it from me, because I wouldn't know. want that low so we're flying high, or angled so that we get some kind of compositional benefit from that. Like either crossing and, getting this diagonal thing going on, or do we want this to mirror, the shape of the fuselage, that kind of direction. Yeah, I definitely think it's better lower. And jury's still out on the yeah, I think that's probably good. That's pretty calm, right? It keeps it, everything's level-ish and together, unified. Okay, now we'll do a new layer. This will be our overlay. We'll even name it overlay. I might even put overlay plane since this is behind the sky. So, so that it's not going to be it's not going to affect the sky color. So we got this like orange here. I'm actually going to go more towards this olive green and kind of bring that in down here. And this is just going to modulate our colors a little bit. Modulate our colors. What is this guy talking about? Shifting things around. Darkening up these wingtips and everything, We're going to really make this juicy. Pump the contrast. That's the plan. Now that, I'm going to go blue, and I am going to go darker on this, because it starts to turn the form, goes down towards the towards the ground. It's catching some of that blue light from the sky, but in all, it is darker than the other stuff. And I'm going to catch it along that edge as well, and we'll push the rest of this. I'll go a little bit darker. Push this down a little darker because it is all a downward facing plane, and so we want to make sure that we're not being too confusing. We can, you can cheat a little bit with these things, and the reason you might want to do that is you might want something to blend in together. Lose an edge. That's the terminology. Because you've got these, these delineated edges. What is going where? You can tell the form of the plane and everything. And sometimes you want to lose that for the artistic representation and composition. So then you see the image more in motion, and it can be more visually interesting, and not exactly accurate. Okay. Not photographically accurate, if that makes sense. What do we need? What do we need? That's too bright. It looks great. Looks great, but it's, like I said, you know, you're making decisions about where you're drawing attention. We are drawing too much attention there. We want that to be more of a paint job or a reflection or something. Then we want it to be a this really bright highlight that draws the eye in. I'm gonna push this whole tail back. I want to see if that helps us out at all. Maybe go even darker than that. What? Can't go any darker. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. But do we want to? That's the question. I might brighten up that text a little bit there. Just a little bit. And this star here. Here, I think this could go, that could get blended. So I'm gonna go a little darker on that side, a little brighter on the bottom. Ooh, way too bright. On the bottom side, just kind of blend that in. Which one's our prop? This guy, that's the prop. So this guy I'm going to do a couple things with. I think we'll do like an overlay or one of these hard light. I like what those do. And then we'll do another version. I kind of like that, lighten. We'll just copy it a couple times and see what effect we get. Vivid light, but we'll go underneath and we'll go less. No, let's do maybe one of these color burn or something. And maybe we go above that previous layer. And then we'll do another. Maybe just we'll go vivid light. And we'll just push it just a little bit. Okay. What do we need here? What do we need? So we can go over top of this. This is our kind of, we'll just call this tweak. Touch up. Touch up is way better than tweak. Sounds like we know what we're doing. Okay, so we're gonna grab some color here. Start to bring in just a little bit of a turn of the form there. I want to keep some of that orange in there, even though it's, you know, really inaccurate, as the cool kids say. It's doing work for us. Okay, it's making the image pop making it more interesting. We're going to throw in some panel lines. And these lines too, I may need to adjust these, but we can kind of jump back and forth here between kind of positive and negative, lights and darks rather, so that it's picking up the same edge, but it's clear that it's, or rather it's visually interesting where it's kind of jumping back and forth, but it's clear that we're looking at the same contour rather. Let's do this. We gotta clean up. I don't need all that craziness going on there. In fact, this whole shape is much softer. It's not so harsh. Okay. And then we'll wipe out a fair amount of that orange in there so that it's not too distracting. This landing gear is lower. I got some text going on here. Cut that angle. We'll cut all these little curvatures in here that'll give us the flow of that form. Let's go something lighter here. Kind of catch the backside of that. That cockpit, the frame of the cockpit there. Okay. Do we need a rim light on this thing? We need a rim light on this thing, don't we? It's got to be brighter in the background, but not too crazy. Alright, now we gotta adjust this guy here. Man can't make a circle in perspective to save his life. Well, just did it. Never mind. Okay, it's not great. It's not great, but enough to save a life. If you had to. Who am I kidding? Nothing we do is of any consequence. Alright. I mean, you know, as artists. Let's see here. Rim going on there. There's some like oil splatters and goodness going on here. I think we'll change this. You know, this really needs to be a little bit brighter there. So, insignia thingamajig. And we may need to give it a little bit more attention. All right. How do we make this cooler? Can you make these planes any cooler than they are? And we'll go with the flathead. We'll start bringing in some more light. Smoothing some of these forms out here. Maybe not. Whoops. Get that highlight, rim light rather, we'll call it. Darken up. Better like pilot in there. We'll just darken him up. Maybe, will we? I don't know. Give him a bright helmet. And maybe break these shapes up with some stuff going on in there. Maybe make some of these a little bit stronger. What do we need here? What do we need? Maybe some darker. Maybe take that wingtip and just darken that right up. Make that a little bit more punchy, contrasty. Clean that up, make that look more like a paint job than a form change. That whole thing is lower. And maybe we just smooth all this out down in here. Give these some more directional lines to them. So we got these like modulations in color and hue, and so I think if we have those follow the form a little bit more clearly, that would be helpful. Now, if we look at this, oh, that's interesting. Look at this. Interesting how it kind of goes purple in there. But yeah, if we look at this and we just say, okay, we're going to make all of this like its own color zone so that it's not competing in terms of, you know, it describing the form. It's not competing with the wing. And then we'll take the wing and we'll go all into this like lighter blue here. Take some of that dark there. Bring that little object. We're just calling them all airspeed indicators. Bringing that thing out farther, and then we're going to bring this shape to the front of the wing, or to the just to the inside. Don't know what it is. Airspeed indicator. Okay. Altimeter, something, you know, one of those things that tells you how high you are. Oh, that's ripe for some comedic input there. Okay. I don't like that blue. It's like too pinky purpley. So we're going to slide over on the color wheel. Go a little bit more. Not quite teal, but just more in that zone. I know I said that we were going to separate those colors, but my goodness, they don't want to be. Yeah, this blue that I said all that stuff about, I was wrong. Just gonna admit, I was wrong. We're gonna change it. Not a great blue. Not the best blue. Okay. You want the best blue for your life right now. What is this guy talking about? He lost his mind. You know, this blue is not that great either. We're gonna get them all today. No blue is safe. Alright, so that's like a touch-up layer. It might kill some of the life. I don't know, you know, when you're detailing like that, you're like nuking some of the, you know, beautiful change-ups and stuff that you get from, you know, a rough pass. But we're gonna have to live with it. I'm gonna go with overlay. We're just gonna do the whole deal here. I'm just gonna see what we can push around this way and that. And whether or not we even want to. Might be a valid question. Get a little bit of this warmth in the white values, regions rather. You know, we're more thinking about that as a local color, and get some of those warms in there and see how that affects things. I think this back here needs to get actually knocked back to more neutral. Maybe there as well. But the idea with the warms in there is just get this nice, you know, pop against the blue. I'm going to do a separate one just for like highlighting effects. You know, where the sun is really hitting hard on these surfaces. I'm just playing with something here. See if we can bump up that contrast on that wing, and whether or not that's any good. Or yeah, I think it kind of ruins the sense of space. So here we're kind of pushing things to black, and so we want to be careful with that because that can screw up our color relationships. But we're doing it to increase the contrast. So it is a choice. I think generally speaking, I like it. I'm gonna pin that layer and then just change this to like an orange value here. I might even go towards like a pink for that prop. And then in here, I'm not quite sure. Like, I think it's gotta have some shadow, but it can't just be like completely black. So I'm gonna kind of lighten that up a little bit in here. Maybe we went a little too far. I don't know about the pilot. Like, I think him being inside the canopy in that window, we need to push some of the values lighter so that there appears to be some space. Some that the glass is obstructing the purity of the shadow. And then like one more thing. I don't know if I want to do this with overlay. I might just do normal and then come in here. Or maybe we'll just do multiply. We'll just come in here and just lower that whole wing there. Let me zoom out. See how we're doing with that. And I think it will lower the fill on that till it feels right. Because that white has to, that white has to push up in value, but it's also in the shadow region, so we need to be able to make that, clear. That's another one of those things where you're not necessarily doing exactly a photorealistic thing here. We're making decisions about value zones and the core shadow and all that stuff. It's a way of kind of tricking the eye into seeing a form, even though that's not necessarily what would happen in this scenario. Because you don't really have much bounce light, other than you got the ground below, but it's not like you're right up against it. All right, let's try with color burn and lower the fill. Somewhere right in here, I think is what I like. All right, now let's do a, what do you call it? Color balance, curves, all that good stuff. So let me have a view on the image while I'm doing my curves. And you see how we like max out our white and our black? So we're not even really touching those. We just, we've given ourselves some space. And we've also allowed ourselves to use those to add color to those so that they're not just purely white, purely black with no hue or saturation information. And so that that allows us to get more mood out of it. Control the palette, control the way that it feels. It's not just purely white, purely black or white. If that makes any sense. Okay, that gives us more shine. Increasing the contrast here. It's not doing a ton of work. Like, it's not really like mutilating our value relationships that we've set up. So I think I'm happy with that as an adjustment layer. And then let's do what do you call this? Color balance. This is all about the relationships between colors. How they kind of bounce off of each other. What does that even mean? What is this guy talking about? It's the way that these oranges and these blues, the orange makes that blue more blue. And there's not very much of that yellow orange in there. And in fact, you get close to it. That's kind of intense, I guess, but you look at this. This is kind of just like mud, but then you zoom out and it looks rich, right? Juicy. And so think on these things. Okay. gonna go in there, somewhere in there. So of course in my reference, there's more of these, and you know, more planes in the scene, and the way that they are, whoops, oriented, you know, we'll get different, you know, angles on, you know, the top side of the plane, rather than, you know, if they're lower in the scene, you'll see the top of the plane. But just for speed, I am going to just copy this guy, paste him in there somewhere, and see if we can get the right feel, right? I'm probably just going to leave out some of the details, like this thing that I'm calling an airspeed indicator that is probably not an airspeed indicator. And the other thing that I'm calling an airspeed indicator that is probably not an airspeed indicator. I don't know, I just like saying it, you know, airspeed indicator. All right, so indicator. So I'm going to remove those details. I'm going to leave them out so that it's not 100% locked in as the same, you know, same exact thing. And in fact, you know, taking out the back, what do you call that? Wing there, you know, that might help us out. So anyway, I'm just gonna undo our color, our curves, and our color balance. I'm gonna do Control-Shift-C, Control-V, and this will be merged plane. I'm just gonna duplicate that, and actually I'm gonna go. We'll do Convert to Smart Object, so that way we can move them around. No fear, nothing. Nada. Alright, what would be cool? You know, like, I think, you know, so in our reference photo, we get him like down here. He's actually quite a bit bigger. He was closer, but I want to have them farther away so that we can have some control over the composition. You know, that we're just looking at this close one. That's the big idea. We'll do one there. Maybe we'll throw one back here. You know, anyone who knows what they're doing is like, what kind of formation is this? We might like skew them a little bit here. It's not the exact same silhouette. I mean, it is the exact same silhouette, let's be honest about that. Now we're going to do color overlay. And for this, we're going to just select our background color, something like that. And just start to increase that. Do we want to do darker color? Lighter color? Yeah, I like that lighter color. So we keep the white, you know, catching all that light. But, you know, if it's farther away, it's getting, farther away gets the more the shadows get obfuscated. Obfuscated. I like that word. Alright, so we did that. merge those. Whoops-a-daisy. No, we don't want to do that. We want to merge these two. Not merge visible. I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to start messing with it. Okay, it's not going to look perfect. It never did to begin with. You know what I'm going to start? I'm going to start pushing these like lighter values up higher so that we're like looking more at the belly. I'm going to bring that lower, change the angle of it. You know, just all these little minor changes to show that we're kind of getting a different view on this one. We bring that cockpit down a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. Seems like that was kind of a mistake right there. Yeah, it might be too long. All right, this guy, we're gonna flatten all these things out. I'm gonna grab all this, all that. Gonna bring that down. What am I doing? And this one will do the opposite. We'll kind of move all this stuff down so that it appears that we go to lower, or rather, yeah, kind of closer to our horizon line on this guy. We're just going for the big landmarks, right? All the things that like have really dark areas or really bright areas. Get the general silhouette worked out. All that stuff could go lower. Grab that, flatten that out. And maybe get rid of that. I don't know. Did I already do? Did I mess with that? I don't remember. I already did that wing, but it's kind of gonna. Yeah, I think I did. I like it better that way, though. A little lower. And I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Go a little clearer view of the front. Bring this prop in a little bit. And I change the angle on the prop so that it's, you know, because we're looking at this one from more of the front, a little bit more of a front view than the other one. So the curvature is not quite as distorted. It's not as much of an ellipse. Do we want that light there and then dark here? Hard to say for sure. I mean, actually, to be sure, it would be similar to that one. It's, you know, I think what's happening here is this is where you're catching the light, the highlight. So, you know, as the light hits as the sun hits the blades as they're spinning, that's the spot where we see it. And then this, we have the darker spot because that's where we've got this angle of return. So, you know, most of the frames in the shot are most of the how do you word it? Your light exposure in the photograph is gonna see the blade the longest in this area as it comes towards us. Okay. Anyway, what is this guy even talking about? So we kind of have to do the same thing here. It would be less pronounced though, and a little broader because of the angle. That being said, we would figure out where that highlight would be at this angle, and that's where it's going to hit the blade. You know, science. And then I'm going to soften all that out because this is not our most important foreground element. It's background. Let the background be background, guys. That's the whole game. At least a good portion of it. Oh, okay, I'm on the wrong layer. I was like, why is that not working? Push that back. Do the other one here. All right. How much grief, though? How much grief should I invest in getting this feeling just right? This is the question every time. And do I like the position of these planes? All right, let's do, okay, got these. That's the adjustment. All right, so I'll just grab that. These will be our BG planes. A couple things we could do. Just lower the opacity. I think that is lame. Okay. So the other thing we can do is, let's actually merge these. I'm gonna merge. And then maybe we adjust them. Now the thing is, we kind of fix them into a location. And that's a problem. I think I should separate them. We're not flying a tight formation here. Tighten it up, homies. That's what they say, right? Tighten it up. I think maybe this one should be bigger. Little measuring guides and everything. They sure do make the world go round, don't they? All right, let's do a new layer here. I got this smudge, and I'm just going to start carrying this on, or do sample all layers, because that won't take forever. And then we'll just, actually that's not so bad. We'll just extend all this out. And we'll decide where we'll crop this thing off. It's the beauty of digital. You don't have to know until, well, ever really. You can keep on changing it endlessly. It's the blessing and a curse of this medium. Alright, now the one thing I don't like about this is these curves is what it's doing to the sky right there. Actually, I don't. Yeah, it's the curves that's doing that. Excuse me. So I'm going to just grab an airbrush. Wherever people keep such things, and then just gonna airbrush that out. There we go. Cool enough, I guess. I don't know. It could use more. But it's 11:20. I think we're good. I think it's time to go. All right. I'll bring over the reference image because I didn't do that in the beginning. It is right here. That's our reference. That's the other plane in the image. So here you go. Oh, yawn. Hopefully I'm not making everyone else yawn. But yeah, that's it for tonight. This was fun. I was actually, kind of thinking about doing like portraiture, doing faces and stuff, but then I didn't. I just so happen to have this, this reference file pulled up. I like it, so I decided to stick with it. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for joining in, and have a good night.